Hi there. I'm Stefan ADIKA. And today it's January 24th. It's 7 a.m. Are you happy? I'm happy. Well, if it's your first time here, let's get even happier. I need you to subscribe. That's right. Subscribe. It's ADIKA Live. It's a little banter. It's a little laughter. It's health and wellness and trending topics. Yeah, that's right there. Subscribe. And also make sure before we get started, everybody, very important what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about health and wellness subjects. We're going to talk about a little trending news. I just said that, right? Oh, fix your way, get your life together. Just get your coffee together. Bam.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stefan and all his friends.
Bless everybody. God bless you all. Everyone, thank you for being here in the morning with me, 7 a.m. and wherever you are, whatever your time zone is, just thanks for being. That's all. We have a lot of great stuff coming up on Coffee Talk and also our sister channel, Artist on Record. Don't forget, subscribe. I need your help. Without your support, I'm nothing without you guys. So am I kissing your ass? You're damn right. I'm kissing your ass. So better subscribe to that channel because I don't want to live in a tent. And also today I have an interview with the legendary drummer of Poison, Ricky Rocket. That's right. I'm going to do that today at 11 a.m. Maybe I'll go on Patreon and do it uncut. I don't know. I do things in Patreon. You guys aren't there, but I'm going to interview Ricky. So if you have a question for Ricky, do me a favor on our website, adikalive.com. If you're not in Patreon, right. What's your question? Go to info@adikalive.com. That's info for you guys that are just waking up. info@adikalive.com. Put a question in for Ricky and I'll pop up your name, make you a star, right? And check it out. I have a lot of good stuff coming up too. We got Joey D from the Starlighters. You don't know who this is? Ooh, this is a Jersey boy. This is the original, the Peppermint Twist. He has a book out, and this book is all about sex, rock and roll. Jimi Hendrix was in his band, and also Joe Pesci. It's all. Do you like the Jersey Boys? You're gonna love this guy. I have him coming on, and then we're gonna have the wonderful, legendary, the original Bernardo George Chakiris. He has a book with his memoir, West Side Story. You're not gonna want to miss this. There's things happening, and also I have this guy over here. But let's get his song together, everybody. Welcome the doctor.
Ask the doctor what you should do. Ask the doctor a question or two. It's all right here on Coffee Talk. It's all pain-free without the shot. All advice is free. Please call 911 if you need assistance.
Dr. G, I need your advice. I went on a rant this morning. How are you? How are you doing?
Doing well. Obviously we're getting our whole family ready and stoked about our pending move to the Nashville area. And in the meanwhile, we're trying to get our office set up and get different forms of electronic records. Doing lots of stuff. So we've been busy.
You're busy, right? Well, I'm not your therapist. I don't care what you're doing, to be honest with you. Dr. G, it's good to see you here.
Good morning, everybody.
Everybody's in the chat. We got a bunch of the familiar faces over here. I see Debbie Muller's there. Marge, good to see you. Renee, Darnell, Wally Groove is here. Wally Groove Cricket. The Reverend is here. Jenny. Okay, Dr. G. So we're talking. I got a lot of stuff going on, and the show is dynamite. Look at all the people.
You got some great interviews coming up. That's awesome.
I got some good people coming on here. Dr. G. I had Felix Cavalieri of the Rascals. Beautiful Morning, Good Love. And these are positive songs.
Absolutely.
And why do I get all crazy when you come on? I'm like, I want to talk what I want to talk about.
Right.
We got this sad news. We lost a lot of, you lost the meat. That's right. Meatloaf passed away from the thingy,
right.
Unfortunately. Great music. Bad Out of Hell. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? 2 out of 3.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. The meat was cool. He had great songs. I'd do anything for love. But what he didn't do, people. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get shadow banned because I want to go crazy. But there's a little, this side talks that side talks this side. But the love died.
Right.
The love died. And then I see in your area where you're leaving, there's other people like the Love. They passed away too from COVID. And then I saw there was like some pictures on the internet, and people aren't, doing the right things. I'm talking COVID. They're not doing this. They're all with their mouths open, breathing on each other. The world is
Those mouth breathers.
animals. Animals, I tell you. Animals. Am I going crazy? What can you say and not get shadowed, man? I say animals.
Right.
But anyway, I'm sorry about all this, Good, be careful, everybody. Just wash your hands, stay in the house, hide like me, and you'll be all right.
Okay, we got to get people out there and normalizing things too. We want to make sure we don't lose too many people from the fear of this thing as well too. So there's a balance that can be reached.
He had other things. Louis, the comedian Louis Anderson, the lovable, he passed away.
Right.
Cancer, right? He had cancer.
I heard.
Yeah. That's what I heard. I don't know the details of it.
Right.
It's crazy. I have a Ricky Rocket I'm going to be talking to him, drummer of Poison. He had he has a YouTube channel which is Urban Legends, which I like all that stuff. He talks about Bigfoot, talks about all these great things. So I want to geek out about his YouTube channel is pretty cool. I had a hard time getting him. I'm not friends with him. After he meets me today, he'll probably hate my guts. But he talks about he had a situation with oral cancer, and he's survived it. He's opened about it. So he has a lot of stories besides Poison and all that stuff. If you don't know who Poison is, nothing but a good time.
Yeah.
Talk dirty to me. The hits.
Every rose has a thorn. Come on.
Every rose has a thorn. Dr. G, he knows his thorns. They're supposed to go on the road with Poison. Poison is going to go out with Motley Crue. There's a whole tour going on. But I want to talk to him about all that stuff. But Dr. G, you're a doctor. You're here. And at the end of the show, before we get out of here, like 10-2, I'm on a time crunch today. I have to make sandwiches, get the kid to school.
I understand those things.
You understand. We'll take questions from the audience. But everybody, I'm glad you're all here this morning. Please, please, please support this channel by subscribing, sharing this. We need your help. Also, this channel, if it does get edited here today, you can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good platforms. You know why they're good? They don't shut up, ADIKA. They keep me talking. I'm like the Duracell battery. I keep on going. So just go. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Spotify, ADIKA Live, Artist on Record, wherever you are, I am. Take me in the bed. Take me in the bath. Just take me. Take me. Take me. Dr. G, don't get me started. Don't get me started here. Dr. G. Let me ask you, Dr. G.
Yeah.
The wife, she brings things to attention to me. And I'm paranoid. I'm a hypochondriac. Celebrities, a lot of them have, and I hope I can talk about this. Just curious. There's a lot of celebrities with MS. We lost Richard Pryor, Christine Applegate from Married with Children.
I didn't know
Jack
she had
Osborne. You didn't know she had it? Christine? Yeah, she has it. Jack Osborne, Annette Funicello, another one from Mouseketeer, would you say? She's another one that had. But a lot of people, MS is. Why do so many people get diagnosed with MS? Nearly 1 million people are living with MS in the United States, Dr. G.
Right.
But then my wife sends me this article. There could be hope. There's a new study from Harvard that says Epstein-Barr Virus may be leading the cause of MS. Heard about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's been many viruses linked from measles to measles immunizations to a variety of other viruses other than Epstein-Barr viruses that have been linked with the neurodegenerative diseases. Sorry for sounding like that, guys. But basically, MS, multiple sclerosis, is a disorder where the immune system starts to attack the myelin sheath, which is the insulator, if you will, around your nerves so that they can operate quickly. And so when you affect that, then you can get any number of neurological symptoms. The classic one is, of course, optic neuritis, where you start off with visual symptoms, but it, of course, can progress to much, much more than that. And it is, again, another one of the autoimmune diseases. We were talking about scleroderma, last week. And obviously, this is a much different disease. It's attacking something different, but it does go back down to the basics, everybody, about nutrition and the eating the right foods, healthy exercise levels, and especially they've shown throughout the Scandinavian countries, everybody, that the two biggest things associated with getting MS are low vitamin D levels, okay, and and sun exposure, which are not always correlated to everybody. So as much times as you can spend out in the sun will decrease your risk of it. Now, this is about prevention now and not treatment. So how do you prevent MS? It's getting out in the sun, getting out into nature. That's why we want everybody out of their houses, out into nature, and getting as much sun exposure as we can. Because something about the ultraviolet light is because ultraviolet light helps our body with fighting off viruses, very possibly. So getting ultraviolet light exposure as well as getting high levels of vitamin D, which don't always correlate. So extra vitamin D supplements, as you know, we always been recommending. And MS and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, are much different diseases actually. And so it could be its own subject, I guess. But MS is a neurodegenerative disease that we can, the best thing we can do for prevention is healthy whole food diets, regular exercise. The linkage with Epstein-Barr and other viruses has been around for like decades, okay? And that's why everybody in an autoimmune disease, it takes a certain genetic predisposition, probably a variety of environmental factors, and then an inciting antigen, in this case, an inciting protein, and maybe even Epstein-Barr virus, and it triggers your immune system not to just attack the virus, but to attack yourself. Okay, and that's what when we talk about molecular mimicry, whatever the basis of these things are. So has the chronic herpes viruses, so be clear, herpes simplex 1 has been associated with it. Not association does not prove causation, everybody. And so another human herpes virus, Epstein-Barr virus, is also associated with it. These are infections that become chronic. 95% of us will get Epstein-Barr virus, which causes mono. Okay, so when you hear the term mono or mononucleosis, it has to do with an illness we think of classically as the kissing disease, right?
Yeah.
And so mono, but again, the vast majority of people who have evidence in their bloodstream called serological evidence, meaning previous infection, have no recall of having mononucleosis ever. So it feels like a common cold, or it's asymptomatic, as we keep on hearing with these other infections. So Epstein-Barr virus is super common, and that's the problem between linking it with the MS. Why do so many people, 95% of Americans, get Epstein-Barr at some point in their life? Why do so few get MS even though there is a linkage? It has to do with chronic reactivation of the virus. And there's ways of testing for that. And that's what especially as integrative medicine doctors do. We look at HHV6, which is human herpes virus 6. We look at Epstein-Barr virus. We look for other signs that your immune system is having trouble controlling certain infections and make sure we get ahead of them.
Dr. G, this is a mono. Ooh, that was like taboo when you were a little kid. Don't kiss anybody. You could get mono. As a little kid, it was like a big thing. That might have been one of the first things I heard. Right. So this article that came out, I think it came out last week. So I wanted to talk about it, but trending topics take us away. It says right here, Epstein-Barr virus may be the leading cause of MS. This is a big step because it suggests that most MS cases could be prevented by stopping EBV. Epstein-Barr, that's for short over there. I'm being technical, everybody. I know. No, I wrote down my notes. I'm not that technical. By stopping the EBV infection, and that targeting EBV could lead to the discovery of a cure for MS. That's pretty big news for MS. Right?
So everybody knows Epstein-Barr virus was linked with chronic fatigue syndrome, or this myalgic encephalomyelitis, as it's known over across the ocean. So this virus reactivating has been associated with things, including certain forms of cancer too, by the way. So the big question, why does everybody not know about Epstein-Barr virus, is because as of yet there's no drug that actually works very well against it. So otherwise, there'd be a TV commercial about, have you asked your doctor about Epstein-Barr virus? Because it's something that does reactivate. It does cause problems in people, and it can cause a variety of illnesses and that's why the linkage, by the way, with this myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is an inflammation in the brain. Myalgic means muscle pain. Encephalomyelitis means inflammation in the brain. So can some people develop chronic states of this virus? Like we're hearing with this current one, right? It's nothing new about long whatever. There's lung infections that have been around forever. They haven't gotten much attention because the classic thing, and somebody was noticing that, is that the idea was they're more prevalent in women, so they're always a psychological problem. Seriously, that's the way the medical system looks at it. So there hasn't been as much research put into it because it was felt to be hysterical and those types of things that are used. And now we're understanding that so much of our thinking has led us away from actually pursuing things like Epstein-Barr virus. So be clear, everybody, Epstein-Barr virus is a human herpes virus that will live with you forever, okay, because it becomes part of your own DNA, okay? And it can cause, when it reactivates, it can cause a myriad of different illnesses that have been completely underestimated by the current medical profession because of a lot of things, but none of them good. But primarily because if there isn't a drug for something, for the most part, nobody will actually pay much attention to it, and that's been the problem.
What about the MS is far more common in countries with temperature climates? Is this true, Dr. G?
She's saying temperate climates, but basically
temperate,
it follows latitude levels. The further north we go, the lower your sun exposure, the lower your vitamin D levels, the higher the rate of MS. So there is a strong correlation between a healthy immune system, which means sun exposure is part of a healthy immune system. Get out in nature, people. Nature, nature, nature. Weed as much as you can. Get rid of the weeds of the world.
If you don't have sun in your area, what should they take, Dr. G?
What's that?
What happens if you don't have you don't live in the sun?
You don't live in the sun. Well, you still get benefits of going out even if it's cloudy, everybody. And furthermore, take your vitamin D, everybody, for prevention. Some of the best trials currently going on are super high dose vitamin D for the treatment of MS, okay? Because that high doses of vitamin D, high doses of melatonin. How many times have you guys heard this for the current situation? See how good I'm doing for you, Stefan? I'm not even saying the word, the current situation.
You're good. You're good today. You're good.
Thank you. I'm actually putting some effort in there. And so is vitamin D and even using melatonin. Now, in general, when you use melatonin, this is as somebody pointed out, this is usually a disease of younger people, especially young women. And so the idea is really that's not the primary therapy. It's the vitamin D will make the biggest difference. And so, yeah, and be clear, everybody. The scans that are currently available, especially MRI scans, whether you do MRIs of the brain and or cervical spine, even sometimes you can do further. You're looking for areas of this demyelination, and you have to have, just like with last week's illness, you have to have a degree of suspicion. If somebody has unusual neurological symptoms, are you thinking about these things? The best test actually is an MRI scan. Sometimes you have to go to the neurologist. Sometimes they have to do a spinal tap. Sorry, everybody, but that's one of the key ways of making the diagnosis. And so, but the key is having an index of suspicion if you have unusual neurological symptoms. And so, and then you look for evidence of, basically the MRI is the best test for looking for that, because you can find MRI scanners throughout our country, even through Canada now. And so it's something that the earlier you catch it, the better off you are. Okay, there are ways of treating it, and the simplest things we do, and there's much more than that in our clinic, is actually using higher doses of vitamin D, and especially the fish oils, and especially the CoQ10, which are so important part of decreasing inflammation in the brain, protecting the myelin sheath, and there's a whole host of other things you do to help with the immune system. So it is a treatable disorder, by the way. The immunosuppressive drugs that are used are pretty dangerous. They are potentially life-saving too. So remember, risk to benefit ratio always changes whether you use these immunosuppressive drugs. But just know that there are ways of treating this. It's not a death sentence the way people think of it.
Yeah, well, that's good. You know, in the chat, I see there's a couple of people. Shantina, lost her uncle, and then I hear everybody's talking MS. Jackie, her stepbrother was diagnosed with it. So it's more, it's really, these are things you don't hear about. The thingy just took away all the other stuff. So
correct.
It's just crazy. Questions in there, people. Put your questions in there. Dr. G will answer them if we could get to all of them, because Dr. G likes to talk. What are the vegan guys? The vegan raw diet, that's another one. The famous Woody Harrelson from Cheers, he's
Woody Harrelson. He's
on the vegan, the raw food,
right?
Raw food. How good is that for you, the raw food diet?
for most people pretty bad. And so, I mean, there's two different debates out there in terms of there's the raw food vegans. What is the main thing that improved brain health? And there's two in terms of for human beings. What led to us evolving this neocortex of ours? One theory is cooking food, because now we didn't have to spend our entire day eating food. So cooking food being the number one thing we did to improve our ability to have a healthy brain. So that would take you away from raw food, obviously. The second thing would be eating fish, which is fish had the higher levels of EPA, DHA, and that would improve our brain. So the two primary theories in terms of how we evolved a healthy brain would be not to eat raw food and not to be a vegan. And so obviously there are some people out there, if you remember, the whole idea of a paleo diet is to eat real food. So the main benefit of a raw food vegan diet is you're not eating at Taco Bell or wherever you want to pick on that day. Okay, so cutting out processed foods, the number one thing we can do no matter what our belief system around anything else is. And so eat real food, everybody. Cook your own food. Do more things that way. Go to your local farmers markets, etc. If you feel better when you eat less meat, then listen to your body and eat less meat. It's really simple, but don't substitute it for something that's bad for you. Don't make fake meat. Fake meat is the worst solution. Okay, so
I went crazy, Dr. G. I had the Beyond Burger, and then afterwards I started reading things about it. I thought I was I'm not doing it no more. No more.
If you look at it, so if you don't want to eat burger, don't eat burger. Don't eat Beyond Burger. It's like if you don't, it's just so simple, everybody.
Corey
but
Levinson eats that stuff. This is why he's in the boat he's in.
Right. Well, yeah, because people, underlying infection around the time of puberty, a common one being chlamydia. Chlamydia is another, chlamydia, mycoplasma. There's many, many infectious diseases that we're bringing up that, so we have an entire panel. So you guys out there know that I have Lyme's disease, but there's other infections, co-infections I have as well, including Epstein-Barr. And so the burden of infections you get during your life and your immune system function with them. And a lot of this is genetic, everybody. You take the right levels of vitamin D and these other things, you can help control it. But a lot of this has to do with what is your chink in the armor in terms of what your immune system can do. So healthy people can get any and all of these diseases, including the current one, okay? And so be very clear in terms of that, is that yes, there are many things. I see people all the time who've been to pulmonologists, infectious disease specialists, and something like the chlamydia and pneumonia. You test a panel, you see high levels of antibodies against it, and you put them on a prolonged course of antibiotics, and their entire infectious disease profile, which classically for that one is more of a respiratory, and their symptoms go away. Okay, and so looking for infections that we think of, because think of is that either they get bad and they kill you, or they just go away. We have to get rid of that model. Many infections become chronic in the body. Okay, and so that's why you have to have this wider spectrum of lens to look at these illnesses. But yes, infections at any time of life, but classically as we're growing up, can become chronic and become a chronic problem in some people, and that's the difficult thing for doctors to understand. Does everybody who gets Epstein-Barr virus have a problem? No, it just goes away. And the vast majority of people, by the way. So is it a mean, ugly virus? The answer is no, it's just a virus.
It's just a virus.
And so
you hear the word virus, everybody gets scared and they go into panic mode. Here's a question right here about fasting right here. Something. Yeah, check this from Shantine, Dr. G.
One of the healthiest movements in longevity medicine and in eating is intermittent fasting. Okay, intermittent fasting is done many, many ways, but the classic way we talk about doing it is time-restricted feeding. Have a window of eating during the day. 6 to 8 hours is classically used, which means that you have a period of fasting, 16 to 18 hours, that's longer than the typical breakfast, right? Breakfast means to break the fast, okay? And for many people, that's 12 hours, so spending that up to, say, even 16 hours keeps you in keto metabolism for a while, a little bit longer, okay? Keto means you're living on these ketone body things, something your body does naturally. You don't even have to think about it. And then you go into fed metabolism, meaning you eat good whole foods and build up your glycogen stores and all the healthy things we've talked about somewhere along the way on this show. And you do these things, and your body does well with being in keto. Some people treat all neurological disorders by staying in keto. I think that's a little restricted for most people. That's its own system of eating, everybody. But is intermittent fasting something really, really useful? And the answer is yes.
Dr. G, the knowledge you bring, Dr. G, it's wonderful. And it's all It's free, everybody. All I want you to do is subscribe, give a thumbs up. That's right. Don't stop
And
with the
let me
alligator
address
arms.
the vitamin D issue because somebody's again
I was just gonna go to
stay
that
away
one.
from
Right?
the
Yeah.
RDA. Okay,
Yeah.
the RDA is how to prevent poverty levels of illness. If any doctor uses the RDA with you, you know they know nothing about nutrition. First thing to understand. If anybody references the RDA to you, they know that they know nothing about nutrition. It's a really important understanding because the level of vitamin C you need to prevent scurvy is one thing. Okay, how vitamin C to be optimal healthy, completely different question that the RDA doesn't remotely come close to approaching. So the vitamin D supplementation is usually 5,000 to 10,000 units a day, along with the K2. Remember the MK7 K2 version of K2, 180 micrograms a day. K2 and D3 synergistic sister nutrients that are used together to prevent ectopic calcifications. We've talked about that with coronary artery disease. And so the hormone connection with vitamin D is that vitamin D is a steroid hormone. It's not a vital amine, meaning vitamin. So the very name vitamin D is a misnomer. Nobody should use it. I use it because that's how we speak in our language. It's a word if people understand it. But the vital amines, vital aminos, okay, is how the name vitamin came about. So they said, well, there's, again, remember the early history of this, but nobody knew even what was going on in the world of rickets, where the bone formation wasn't what it should be, and the bones were weak. And it happened in cities. It happened in places with pollution where there was low vitamin D. So they found this substance that they thought was a vitamin, and they called it vitamin D, that was responsible for preventing rickets. Haha, we have the answer. That's a tiny fraction, and I mean the tiniest fraction of what vitamin D is and what the RDA is based on. If you don't want to get rickets, take this 400, 600 units of D. Great. Nobody wants rickets. Wahoo, I don't have rickets. You probably weren't going to get that. The level of vitamin D you need, everybody, is enough to keep your immune system functioning, and that tends to be between 5,000 and 10,000 in most people for immune system health. Okay, this is really important. Now take it with the sister nutrient, the K2 as well. That's a vital piece of information. But the hormone connection, and I know you know this, but is that this vitamin D is a steroid hormone with receptor sites that throughout the body that have to do with immune system function. One of the vitamin D's key things is to upregulate these things called T regulator cells, which basically means helps your immune system balance itself. Vitamin D helps your immune system function. Vitamin D helps with antimicrobial peptides, which is how your body fights off these chronic viral infections. So vitamin D is essential for the prevention and treatment of these kinds of disorders. Okay,
Debbie, I want to thank Debbie. Thank you very much. How about right
we're
there?
flesh in McDonald's burgers. Well, hamburger is flesh, so there should be flesh in it. I don't know about the question. Sorry about that. But I've always wondered if there was any flesh in the McDonald's burger, because it doesn't really even taste like burger, does it, everybody? If you've really tasted it on its own, it really doesn't. So I actually think it might be just a rumor that there's burger in the burger at McDonald's, but who knows? There's probably some.
There's
Could be
how
some.
about the chicken? The chicken, I don't even think is chicken. It's like
Oh gosh, they grind up cartilage and beaks
Right?
and claws and things, and you got a McNugget out of it. It's crazy.
Oh,
I mean,
it's not good, huh? It's like a green slime or something.
it's that they make a slime out of it, and I'm sure they put their share of MSG and other things to make it palatable, and we call it food, and so that's again, that's the whole point, is that these highly processed foods and their effect on our immune system function, etc., is why we have so much trouble dealing with these viruses. So as you guys know, I've always talked about the terrain theory. The terrain is more important than the organism. So that's why Western medicine loves to attack things. So it's going to make Epstein-Barr into an enemy that we need to attack, and unfortunately probably give some drug that attacks it and probably knocks you off sometimes, and instead of working on your own immune system. You saw it in the current situation in the world. Everybody focuses on how you attack something, not how you build your own system up, right? And so the key in all these things is to work with your own system, regain true medicine, which is to just work on stress and stress management. Get healthy whole food nutrition. You build your body, which includes your immune system. You will trust your own self to deal with these things. Of course, some people are going to need some help, but the majority of people, it's about nutrition, exercise, the usual suspects.
Yeah. Well, Renee, she loves vegetable burgers over there. I'm seeing.
Mhm.
Smith is saying she likes the new
Mhm.
chicken breast at the McDonald's. Well, good luck with that. So,
Mhm.
like I say, you want to glow in the dark. I won't touch. I haven't
Right.
had fast food,
Mhm.
man, since I was maybe in seventh grade.
Right.
That's the last time I had it.
Right.
That's right. That's
I
right.
had some in
Oh,
college even as far
Debbie
as that
Mo,
goes.
Deb, who's breast? Debbie, thank you very
Deb,
much for the super chat.
who's
You are
best?
wonderful.
I love your questions.
I love it.
Um,
Yeah, Soylent Green. I remember
Assuming we're talking
Soylent.
about food now.
Yeah,
But
the movie.
anyways, I'll
You saw the
say
movie Soylent Green. Remember that?
yes. It's
Charlton
people.
Heston, the great movie, great
Right.
movie. Tracy, we are living in Soylent Green days,
Okay.
and this is, you know what? This is a
Mhm.
lot of fun talking to you, Dr. G.
Sure.
It is 7:30 a.m. on the dot. Everybody, thank you for your questions in there. On Monday, you can catch the doctor with us. He will answer your
Mhm.
questions, and I will sit back as quiet as I can be. It's very hard, very hard. Dr. G is wonderful. 9 a.m. He is on IG. That's Instagram for you young kids out
Right.
there. If you want to talk to Dr. G, what are we talking about today, Dr. G?
Actually, I'm making it about the other thing and question and answer. And
Mm.
so it's going to be primarily question and answer. So
Yeah.
and so yeah.
Yeah, and we'll continue to chat,
Yeah.
everybody in here, in your comments down below. Continue to chat in there. Give us your feedback, any questions you have, any topics you want to talk about, health and wellness. Give
Hmm.
it to us. Let us talk about it. We'll make it a
Right.
subject. Love to hear you. Subscribe. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing and sharing this. Artist on Record,
Hmm.
ADIKA Live. Subscribe to that channel. We're having a lot of great people coming up, everybody, before I get out of
You
here.
do.
Yeah, a lot of cool cats, Dr. G. Look at
Hmm.
this, Dr. G. I'll make the screen big. Friday, I'll be interviewing Joey D. I'll be recording that. I'm going to put it in
Awesome.
Patreon Friday. That's right.
Yeah.
That's 11 a.m. It'll be in my Patreon. It'll be unedited, uncut. The algorithm, YouTube. I want to hear him talk. This is like The
Hmm.
Sopranos meets American Bandstand. You love good music. You love good mob stories. This is the man who's been there.
I
Joe
like it.
Pesci played guitar in his band, and also
Really?
Jimi
That's
Hendrix.
awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And Kenny Vance, I got to thank you for introducing me to Joey D. Kenny Vance from Jane the Americans, Looking for an Echo. And then this guy right here, George Chakiris, the original Bernardo. He actually was in a movie called Diamond Head, movies with Yul Brynner. But man, you
Hmm.
know him as Bernardo in
Hmm.
West Side Story. Did you know on off Broadway, London's Broadway show West Side Story, he played Riff, who was was on
Yeah.
Tony's side, the opposite
Right.
guy. I
Right.
can never picture him as a Riff, just
Yeah.
Bernardo. And he actually has a jewelry company. The
Hmm.
man looks fabulous, and he's in his 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, he's great. So I'm very excited about George
Hmm.
Chakiris coming on, and also we got comedian Judy Tenuta. She'll be coming on. I have her coming on.
Yeah.
Remember her with
She's
the
funny.
accordion? Yeah,
Hmm.
has another situation. She has ovarian cancer, and she's been
Hmm.
dealing with that and the
Right.
thingy that and she's going to talk about all that. But she's
Right.
very funny. A lot of people coming on the show. I want to thank you all for being a part of this show.
Hmm.
Your support, as always. I love you. Dr. G loves you.
Good to hear.
MiddlePathMedicine.com. You can find all your spices over there. If you need any vitamins or
Spices.
witch oils, it's all there because I get my fish
Exactly.
oil from Dr. G.
Right.
Costco. Dr. G, it's a pleasure as always to have you here.
Great to be here, everybody.
That's right. Everybody needs a good doctor, and it's this man right here. Until then, everybody, subscribe, be kind to each other, and remember, God loves you. Mwah. Bam.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. With Stefan and all his friends.
Dr. G, I'm just sitting here looking at how good looking can a man be? It's just why am I so why did God give me these looks, Dr. G? He just gave me these looks. I can't help but be in the machine. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the support. I love you. Dr. G, always great having you here, my friend.
Great to be here.
On IG at 9 a.m. today, Pacific Standard Time. Follow him.